Welcome back to Saga of Three Kings, session 81, entitled Demise. Last session, the group traveled to the former lair of the dragon Alruin, who to the party is now known as Now Nefondus, the king in shadow, a gold worm dragon of great power in ancient days that was killed and brought back somehow, or is currently now, an undead being who wishes to create a very lawful, very under his tyrannical rule based government in the Mudis region to begin with, and in the greater Osirian nation to culminate. That said, they thought that they might find some thing to assist them. Probably treasure is what they were mainly kind of hoping would be there. But what they found instead were dead bodies. One of a person that they had seen on the train car that was rolling into a dread realm in the plane of shadow. The cave before them deposited a host for them, a rider in black armor, upon a very, very necrotic looking and evil looking steed. It steps out of the cave, crushing bone underneath hoof as it does so, and the rider kind of stops out at where a flow of water seems to be kind of emanating out of the cave itself. The stream wasn't mentioned last session. Not much was detailed about the area around. I do want to make sure you are aware. Around you is forest, dense, heavy. It would be hard for a rider to pursue you outside of the forest if it comes to a situation where retreat is something you imagine might be necessary. But the rider stops, bones crushed underneath hoof, seems to acknowledge your presence, but you can't really tell, as there does not appear to be any source of light or iris in the helmet. Just a dark, cold mask of metal staring out at you.
I wave at him. Does he wave back?
He does not.
Rude.
What kind of elevation are we looking at?
So the stairs move up to a level that's about 7 feet higher than what you would consider ground level. There is kind of a rise from the bottom of the map to the top of the map, but it's not an elevation that's going to affect anything present.
Okay, and these ruins, that's not signifying like a cliff face or anything. That's just the
bro-
water just happens to float past it.
Yeah, just broken stone. It kind of flows down. Like I said, it's kind of flowing down at that kind of angle, but it's not a huge rise.
I'll fly up, stand on top of the rocks here, get a better look at him.
He appears to just be kind of stationarily placed, very much kind of in a defensive posture. And in the time that it takes you to kind of get up there, he moves the horse and himself into the water. You can see now that the water isn't terribly deep, no more than maybe 2 feet high on the horse's leg. These broken trees seem to kind of root underneath where he's standing. And you can make a perception check for free.
Just shambles?
18.
Yeah, just him because of positioning.
Yeah.
There's certainly a glow to the place. The environment does have a very kind of glowing atmosphere to it. You can see kind of fairy light kind of appearing around and about. And there's a certain connection here. This place seems to have a very similar kind of feel to Oru's kind of domain. There's a very similar kind of connectivity there.
I get the idea that it's sort of this location is somehow anchored to the Feywild or whatever it is.
You definitely feel the same. Yeah, it would be Feywild.
Okay.
So, having been a sentinel, would Grok have us understand that this kind of a creature would be another type of protector, or has he seen or heard of such kind of things before? Because this is different than the sentinels he knows of or knew of.
Whatever it is writing is so infernal and evil you don't think that this is an agent of protection or good.
Even for an evil dragon.
Maybe it's a servant of such, but
Okay.
again, you don't know for certain. The only
Okay.
information that we, again, have gleaned on the emissaries, as they're being called, is these writers seem to have communicated with Caloreth at some point, according to Ropes. And according to Ropes, were servants of the chromatic dragons of the world. Or of the region.
Okay.
So he's just sort of rowed out into the middle of that pool
Mm-hmm.
to get a better look at us? Or
He's definitely not acknowledging you up on the ruins. He's just kind of there. But he definitely rode out as if he was coming to meet you all.
yeah, I'll speak to him. My name is Chris Gervester. I come here seeking information about the former gold dragon known as Alrune. Are you the master of this place?
Your name is known. I am no master, only a servant. I serve life by ending it. I serve truth by facing it. I serve the dragon Orbicus and defend that which was done by her here.
We have met your master. I am curious about her safety. Is some goings-on have occurred. We have reason to believe that she was endangered.
My duty is plain. I am to protect this place. If you wish to discuss the matter with my master, seek her out. She resides north of the Black Fens to the south.
Anybody got anything?
I'm just
I
checking
mean,
back my
I
notes.
hate
just
to
try
use it
remember.
because Asmodeus, or as whatever her name is, gave it to us.
Ashmodea.
Ashmodea. I don't know why I said Asmodeus. But anyway, Ashmodea gave it to us, but maybe if you had the little thing that Vincent gave you, the symbol of Ashmodea, you might be more willing to talk.
Or
Or
you
you could attack us.
could-
It's a 50-50 shot.
No, I'm not using
yeah, I
that.
don't think that's a good idea.
That comes out when I say it comes out.
So I'm just trying to, out of character, Zach and Chris and Brent, I'm just trying to recollect exactly what's going on here. So
Sure.
This is a servant of Orbicus who's trying to protect the place where Orbicus killed the gold dragon.
Well, you know the gold dragon wasn't killed here. It was killed in
Yeah,
the
but-
open sky, but you would presume
Right.
that the body of Alrun is here,
Okay.
based on the way he described it. And this individual is here to defend that corpse.
Right.
May I assume that you and your master are aware of a creature that calls itself Now Nefundus?
Now, Nefondus, we are aware.
Are there any preparations that your master has made? Any actions intended to be taken against this creature?
Now, Nefondus's goals are bound by its current form. It is not able to do as much as it would like. When Orbicus made plain Now Nefondus's agency in this world and desires through mortals, I swore my allegiance to Orbicus. In doing this deed, I will protect the corpse of Auron, the golden dragon, until such time that its spirit is moved from the mortal realm into the beyond to enter the astral sea and join the war of blood.
So you do not wish for its return on this plane.
My duty is simple. I protect this base. Any who would wish to pass my field will die. And you can see that they're, from your position, Shambles, there are a lot of dead things.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Have you been threatened by Ashene, dragon mage servant of Elrond?
Agents of Ashene have made their efforts. None have passed. None shall pass. Come on, Zach. It's a
joke. We're not making that joke.
It's a Black Knight.
I know. I'm aware.
Of course.
And I think we are on this. Ultimately, we're on the same side at the moment with this thing. I mean,
enemy of your enemy kind of
right?
deal.
Well, yeah. I mean, what he's doing is working for us.
What may I call you, sir?
I am known as Demise in the common tongue.
Take a good look around. Not a bad name for you.
If you have history trained, you can make a history roll.
I don't.
Well,
oh boy,
anybody
I
who can
don't.
hear the conversation.
Will you guys move up?
I do. Yeah, no, I was going to, and then he started talking. I was like, all right, let him go.
Waiters.
I'm just so interested in this conversation. Sorry.
23.
You're pretty sure you've heard of a Black Knight named Demise who is actually a servant of the Hierarchia, which is the angelic order in the heavens. And Demise was basically a good angel who fell from heaven when he was corrupted by the law of death. He now observes the law of death to its purest, and he reigns inside of the element of chaos, and appears to have been brought forth to do this deed, to protect this golden dragon.
A little overkill, isn't it, man?
You're thinking about it, and you're pretty sure that when he said field, what he means is he's laid out craft magic in his space, which means if you were to assail him, not only would you be dealing with him and his horse, but also a bunch of predetermined spells and shit that are out and about in this area.
So like lair action type stuff.
Yeah.
I'd let the group know that he's prepared to fight, so we probably would not want to fight him, even though he doesn't seem hostile.
That's why
Grok would whisper to Benson, so Orbicus summoned him.
Seems to be.
Benson, he's in full plate and on horseback. He's ready for a fight. I don't care what you I don't care about magic.
Yeah, I mean,
I have eyes.
Also, he's got all this other stuff.
Sir Demise, may I ask, to what end does your master place you here to defend this corpse?
I was summoned to defend the corpse to ensure that Elrond never rise again. My presence here inhibits it from doing just that. By no means of magic can Elrond take this body up again, reformed or otherwise.
In this we are allied.
He doesn't seem to acknowledge that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to throw up Brent, do you want to throw up a divine sense?
Smite.
I mean, I could pretty much
No.
tell if he's dead.
Do you want to throw up a divine sense?
Just do
Sure.
it.
He's an angel. He's absolutely
Oh.
alive. He glows brilliant radiance. The thing he rides upon is a demon. A very powerful horse demon.
I'm gonna look over at Shambles like, he's got this. The body's safe. Let's just leave.
He doesn't seem to have any weapons.
I thought you said he was carrying a spear last time.
Oh yeah, he was carrying a spear. Sorry.
Ha!
You're right. Sorry.
He is a weapon.
I forgot how the thing that he uses manifests. Yeah, it starts off as a sphere. Sorry.
It would seem that your master has goals similar to our own. Could you imagine a way that we could speak to your master in a civil means?
I would suggest that you go to her. If she wishes to have a civil discourse, then it shall be had. If she wishes to have a meal, then it will be had.
Well, that doesn't sound very good.
Search me. We either go talk to the boss or we deal with this guy.
Well, we have dealt with him. He's doing what we want done.
Yeah, but like deal with him, Grok.
Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm always willing to fight. I'm laying out our options.
We need to
Give us a sec.
Just because you're a hammer.
15-minute break.
Not like he has anywhere to be.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like Demise is going anywhere.
This is probably the highlight of his day.
Highlight of his month.
I mean,
That's true.
I think talking to Orbicus and figuring out how to deal with Ashene or what's up with that might be a good plan.
We're just gonna have to tell Orbicus wants to talk to us because we did break into her lair once already.
Well, we also helped prevent Alron's return by destroying Oru, which I'm sure Orbicus knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we also forced her to use a very powerful magic that lets her summon other dragons, which we don't know if she can do
awesome
again.
that she wasted it.
Yeah, it might not be awesome to her.
And just Benson, just don't say anything about the whole Ashmedea.
Yeah, no, we're not.
BFF thing, you know.
We ain't talking about nothing. Ain't nobody
You
saying
kids carry
nothing.
grudges.
Right?
Yep.
Jesus.
We haven't been.
It's
through
been like
this
a
yet.
day.
We haven't actually been through this yet.
That's true.
Seems like you guys have some drama to sort out. Out on my lawn.
Well, this definitely answers no questions, and if the dragon does have any secrets still within its lair, I mean, you
It
could
does.
presume that they're present, but you could also presume that if the dragon was buried here by other dragons, they probably
They
didn't
took
leave
his
much behind.
Yeah.
I don't imagine that
Body.
Demise would be too happy with us trying to get in there to rummage through stuff.
I'm perfectly cool with you fighting with Demise.
No thanks.
I definitely built the encounter
I know.
for it to be the case.
You're like, come at me,
I'm
bro.
gonna vote yes on both.
He's
You
like, he
guys-
knows his murder hobos. He knows what they do.
I'm not a murder hobo. I just like a fight. You put something in front of me, I'm gonna try.
Brock would touch and pull him on the shoulder, say, not today, not today. Maybe save it.
Does anybody have any parting questions or parting things they want to investigate, analyze, or whatever before you move on?
Are we able to check out the bodies? I would love to see which ones were servants of Ashene and see if we can glean any information about that.
I would stay off the steps. I'd stay out on the grass.
Some of the ones look like they were chased down and slaughtered on the way out. That one that I mentioned that you kind of reached up to was like kind of the first one down there at the base there. From this vantage point that Shambles has, I mean, you can see, quite a few different, individuals. There's a Netin. There's, a couple of dead folks who look like they were possibly in an adventuring party. Lots of dead, lots of skeletons that have just been piled up in the center. Looks like some people might have gotten to the mouth of the door, or a lot more people have gotten to the mouth of the door before Demise was activated. And when they got there, they were inhibited in escaping for some way or some reason. Looks like a lot of people have died at that mouth.
I think it's best that we speak with your master. Do me a favor. Hold your post.
I will not do it out of any kindness to you. And you see him kind of pull the reins, and the horse starts to turn about.
Good enough for me.
This guy.
So do we want to wind walk to her lair, or do we want to teleport close and walk there?
Well, we're about as close as... No, that's not true. We were at Bond Rock just now.
Yeah, we're like the opposite of where we need to be, pretty much. We're on the top of the map. She's on the bottom.
We're well north of where we should be. It was Mountain's Toe, I think, where we saw Orbicus.
I'll pull the map up. Hold on.
Yeah, I imagine we're done here.
Unless... No.
Shambles sneaks off.
Fights,
Be one of them.
fights over for Shambles. So you are currently, I'm going to ping it, located at Alron's lair. I haven't titled it yet, but I will. And you met the dragon at Mountain's Toe Mine.
Yeah.
And the name is wrong there, but you were told by a number of different sources that the Stone Fang mountain is where the Black Dragon resides.
Or is it Stone Fang?
Yeah,
Right there, it says Stone Fang.
it was incorrectly
good?
named. Also, there's a stone tooth.
You said it beforehand.
Yeah, I had realized, and this is retcon for all past sessions, because there's actually a stone tooth in Broken Blade Coast, so I can't have two mountains with the same name in the same country. That'd be weird. Retcon. Anyways,
It happens.
the closest shrine, or the closest waypoint you have would be the Bronze Shrine, which puts you about a day out from the mountain's toe. About 2 days out from Stonefang. So
How are you all feeling?
planes work from there.
Yeah,
I mean, I could wind walk us there. That would just blow my highest level spell, so I wouldn't be able to do that massive heal on, let's say, Shambles.
Well, okay, before we decide how to get there, I want to be sure that's what we want to do. Because I
So-
know Brent's got Ruby Eye. He's got that egg. I've got stuff going on in Bellum that I'd like to not keep on the back burner forever.
Well, why don't
but-
you say what that is? Because I think that might be related, don't you think?
Well, it's related, but ultimately there's not a whole lot we can do about it.
What do you mean?
Well, Ashene is still... Or, I'm sorry, Alessia, both of them are still on the Council of Coin. If I were to expose either one of them for what they are, it could potentially be a civil war there. And anyway, we want to wait for the Dark Flame Orcs before we make any moves in Bellum.
They still have to make the Black Band.
Yeah, they're still headed to Black Fang anyway.
Yeah, I mean, from Grok's perspective, he's just kind of not thinking about all the political machinations. He's thinking about the big picture, and that is
Azil's
stopping
egg,
Alron. No, stopping Alron, which means stopping his servant Ashene.
And I have put a new token
Alessia.
on the map. I'm going to go ahead and ping that token real quick. That token will mark the current Raya detachment of Black or Dark Flame Orcs.
Why didn't you just put a Raya there?
Yeah, that
So you
makes
don't
it,
get it.
that makes
So you
all
don't get it lost as a location.
You're a smart lad. Gain inspiration
tried.
for being a smart lad.
Ooh. You know what? I don't want it. Brent, take it.
All right.
I get inspiration from jokes.
Not from being
You
a
get it.
smart boy.
You get it the best way. From memes.
Oh my god, it's so big.
Look at the biggest Raya.
It's a really big army.
He is leading a battalion.
It's only 500.
So I would personally vote headed towards Stonefang or Mountain's Toe. Mountain's Toe is probably a touchier place because she was trying to defend that. I don't think that's necessarily where she lairs.
Yeah, she was flying out to you from the
I
south.
am sympathetic, however, to Rookland's plight with the egg.
Okay. If
So
you
we'll
want to
hash that
take
out.
care of that, sure.
Now, you would know that it wouldn't hatch that out. You said hatch that out, sorry.
Hash.
I thought you said hatch. I was like, no, that's not.
I might actually have the conversation of, do we want to do that while we're, not at the end of the world?
Well, that'll be a bit of a walk. So you'd teleport the closest you could to Bluegate, and then you'd have to march to Barrod, and then march to up Mount Rubii to Vashwendir.
I would like to return the egg, but I also would like for the egg to be able to be there safely and not have dragons fighting constantly around it. So I would, for his safety, I would think we need to talk to the dragons.
Benson, thoughts?
Currently, I think that is fine. I don't think we need to hit anything big until Raya comes back. So I think this is more side quest time, just to make sure the party's full.
Heads up here, just so you kind of time it. It's going to take him a few days to move an entire army to the Black Fens, and not on top of that search the Black Fens for what he's looking for. So he's, if I remember correctly, we've got him lost for this week and next week, right?
I think 3 weeks.
So one more after that. So yeah, side quest time might be like, literally, this is the best time to put an egg in a mountain, or and then ultimately you can teleport to Benish and move to Agios and like ask around about an army that's been moving around the Black Fens. You should be able to get reports, rumors, and if you don't get them from there, just move to Armskirk and see if anyone's passed through. It won't be hard to track 500, badass warriors of the Dark Flames, mostly orc, very easy to spot in the crowd situations as they move into a forest.
That is fair. It would be a good time to deposit that, because I don't see us running into a lot of trouble going up there.
You don't want to carry it around all the time. You almost had a debacle in the ghost trade.
It is in my bag of holding right now.
That would have been hilarious.
I'm still curious what could have happened.
So, I mean, I
Well,
would like
what
to
if
return.
series?
I would also like to visit my parents. So there's two things that we can do. I haven't visited my parents. Visiting them with the egg would be cool. I'd love to let them see the egg. If we could do that and then take it back. Because they were the ones that sent me on the quest to find the egg in the first place.
They sent you to find the egg?
Well, they told me about it, and telling me about it was essentially saying, hey, it's a thing you can find. So, and they didn't stop me when I left.
Okay. Is that the plan?
I vote we just take the egg there.
I'm kind of in that boat too. I mean,
yeah.
if we can stop on the way there, is it anywhere close to the mountain, or is it completely?
The only way
is the opposite way.
The only way you're going to make Banser a trackable kind of thing is teleport to the Tower of the Bright Star, the lighthouse on Cloudy Lake, where you met the the strange arcanist tower, who's now a teacher at the school, whose name I have somewhere in my notes.
It's a funny name.
What's the name?
I can't remember, but it's a funny name. I liked it.
Oh, it was like Gary or Larry. Or something.
It's something like Jerry. It was Jerry.
Jerry was the name. So Jerry is your oh God, what's this abjurationist? No. Saroth is your abjurationist. Jerry is your evoker. Right, because he lights the fucking Tower of the Bright Star. Duh. So yeah, your teachers as of right now are Jerry, the evoker, Saroth Emernath, the abjurationist, who's the noble you met in Benish, Lady Maris, who is the noble you met in Bellum, Zivik, who is the enchanter that was brought on and granted to you on loan by the Mardigan family, and Mela is not really a focused caster. But yeah, those are your current teacher cycle.
Then we got the dwarf
and
coming.
Chris and Gervester.
Right.
Jim.
The dwarf hasn't been decided.
Yeah, he's coming though.
Right.
And then you got your paladin teacher, Brooklyn.
Right, sure. Because we're going to have divine classes in an arcane school. So you could teleport to the Tower of the Bright Star, move from the Tower of the Bright Star to Banser, then to Bluegate, along the north face of the Hamstring Hills to Barrod, from Barrod up to Mount Rubii into the Vashwendir Frost Giant complex.
Or if we want to just skip going to my parents first, we can come back and figure out what's killing stuff along the road. Because I remember that's a thing we have too. The thing that just keeps killing, leaving bodies hung up with like spears or tridents.
Absolutely is a thing that was left on the side there.
We got a lot of stuff we can do.
Well, if he's going for a battle, I mean, like I said, I think the best time to take care of the egg is now if we're going to do it. So it's going to be a little bit of a jaunt, but I think it's the best time, personally, in my opinion.
Just need to know how you're going about it.
Well, I'm out of teleportation until at least tomorrow,
So
so
you're
we'll
walking
have
back
to
to
wait.
Dark
I
Lane.
have both
Yeah.
wind walk and travel by plant. So either one of those can do a little bit.
I would say that you could travel by plant to Banser.
Yeah. You probably saw a nice looking
You've been
tree.
in Banser enough to know that there's a nice shrubbery outside of Brooklyn's house.
Alrighty. So we're gonna emerge from the shrub right in front of Brooklyn's front door.
Okay.
Weapons drawn.
All right. If that's the case, you
Sean!
step over to one of the trees, and move through it, and you step out into Banser. It's raining. Very much kind of a rainy kind of heavy rain kind of coming down. And you can kind of see that all the ships have been kind of moored, tied in tight to the docks, and it doesn't look like anyone's out and about on the cloudy lake today. So there's a bit of a storm kind of hitting. You can see the lights of your house are on as you kind of step out of the shrubs. And if you kind of want to run up there and knock on the door, you can.
Yeah, I'll run up and knock on the door.
You hear kind of like a orcish, conversation on the other side, which you can understand. She's basically saying, grab the crossbow. They don't know who's coming to the door in the middle of the storm.
It's me, mother.
The second you say that, the door flies open, and she takes you into her arms, plate and all, and just kind of like, get in, you'll catch your death. Brings you.
Come on,
into-
guys.
It happened to me once. I should ask. I'm curious if Demise would have hated my gut.
Sorry, continue. That was just really well. That happened to me once. If Demise would have what?
If he would have hated my guts since I've died and come back to life so many times.
No, he doesn't care.
Oh, good for him. Way to stick to your principles, fella.
I'm just checking that shrub to make sure nothing comes out of it.
Yeah, nothing follows. Out of character note, had you fought him, he would have done the same thing several times in the same fight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway.
Peers. It's called having peers, and
Right.
it's great.
Yeah, like that guy's on my level. So the hearth is hot. She says, 1 second, I'll go ahead and get some tea. And you can see her kind of give Benson a look, like the last time they kind of met, they weren't exactly terribly nice to one another. There was a lot of animosity kind of in the low ends there. But she rushes and gets some tea.
I stop her.
How do you stop her?
I just say, ma'am, please.
He stops.
Wait.
She stops and turns. I'm just gonna put some tea on.
How about, have you guys ate yet?
No, we were gonna eat a little later today.
Okay. How about you call a couple of your closest friends? I'm going to try to bury the hatchet here since I know we weren't as nice to each other as we should have last time, I guess, or I was at least not a very good guest. So I would like to apologize. Call a couple of your closest friends, have them come over, and I'll take care of dinner tonight.
Okay. Well, she looks to her husband. Go see if the Cloud Racers are interested in coming over. Sally might be interested to see Brooklyn. And nods. She I'm still gonna put the tea on, she says. She goes and kind of gets set to that. Now there's a decent dining room, but it's one you haven't really entered into. You just kind of see off there on the side. If you want to go in there and make any preparations or do whatever you were gonna do, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go
Out
in
of
there.
character. What is your beef with his mom?
The way that they were talking last time, it seemed like they were up to something, to be totally honest.
He thought they were in league with the Asmuten Knights.
Yeah,
Oh, that's silly.
so
It was silly, but at the time it didn't seem that way.
That's fair.
In
it
hindsight,
did seem that way.
well, no, I'm saying in hindsight, it was a good,
He's saying you had a reasonable.
There was a solid
Yeah.
paranoia, but in hindsight, I'm saying it does seem silly now.
Right. So that's why I'm trying to fix it.
Got it.
So I'm gonna go in and I'm going to I'm not in a hurry, so I'm just gonna go and check the table, kind of set it and spread out the chairs and such.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
guess I'll go to the market for you.
No, it's fine.
Fine.
While they're doing that, I'm when my mom comes back in, I'm assuming whenever my dad comes back, like, oh guys, by the way, and I'll pull out Haziel's egg.
Ah! They are amazing.
And we'll get a big frying pan.
You definitely hear your dad start reciting kind of prayers you remember like learning from him in your youth. And he's very kind of like in adoration. Your mom is more kind of like the, all right, kind of like that parental kind of pride just kind of beaming on her face. And once he stays locked in his prayers, but she says, you brought her down from the mountain.
Actually, we had she granted us wishes when we brought her back, and one of the wishes looks at Grok very suspiciously, watching you by the way, was to protect a dragon, the dragon Oru, and turns out the dragon Oru was not on par with Haziel and killed her. So we got her egg back and we're taking it back to the mountain. I just wanted to bring it by to show you guys.
Wow, that hurt. I had no idea.
Does Rock say that?
Yeah, he kind of whispers that a little bit. He whispers it to maybe
I'm on the show, like, I
Shambles.
was just joking. I got you.
Oh man, it sounds like you guys got drama.
You got stuff happening here,
There-
unresolved.
She says, well, that's great. If it wasn't for the storm, we would probably have more things happening here in Banser. Based on what we've been able to suss out and gather, the Comus Palatinus came into town maybe a day or two ago and traveled up into the Howling Hills to deal with the troglodytes that have been causing problems for travelers on the roads. Those holy knights have done some pretty great work, but ever since the storm started, we haven't heard much from them. We do know that their Iron Road is about to make its way through Banser, probably no more than a day or two before we start seeing their construction pass by.
Oh, what's up?
I'll go ahead and update the road, by the way.
I will put the egg back into the bag of holding for safety reasons. I don't want to drop it. Like, yeah, we've had a pretty interesting journey, and I'll just like go on about some of the stuff we've done and talk about how I met Sally's brother.
Oh,
But he died.
yeah. They, seem very invested in that and say, kind of, oh, well, you'll have to retell the story again when the Cloud Racers come, if they do show up, if your dad is able to convince them to do so. But yeah, updated the road.
That's fast.
What they're building?
Yeah.
They're using a huge juggernaut to build it. You saw their artifice. It's not like they're laying the tracks with people.
Yeah, but how many days has it been?
Several.
Okay.
I mean, it has been let's see, since you were in Benish.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm saying it takes us 2 days to walk then.
9 days? 10 days?
It just seems fast.
Since Benish, because you went from Benish to
Yeah.
Agios, Agios to Blackheart, Blackheart to Bellum. Bellum you stayed in for a good 3 or 4 days. Then you teleported windwalked from Benish to Darkflame after several days in Bellum. And you spent some days in Benish as well. And then you appeared in Darkflame. You spent a couple of days out there, plus 1 more day for your travels in depth. And then you just kind of came back.
Don't forget we fought the dragon too. We fought
Oh,
Oru.
yeah, there was this.
That was 10 minutes.
So sorry. It was Bellum to Mudis, then Mudis
Oh.
to Darkflame. Now I remember. Now, you're right. Yeah, it's been 10. Maybe,
I'm saying it's impressive. That's it.
absolutely. But again, also you would have heard from Mudis. The last note you had on the Iron Road on the south side is it hasn't moved much further in the lands that it's moving through, the the Marv Fields. That one seems to be stopped up for some reason, but we'll get to that if you ever go that way. We might. Okay. So, father comes back, and he's only got Sally in tow. And he says, she's only stopping in just to say hello. Her dad is a little bit ill right now, and is staying.
Can you bring him?
Well, he refused to come.
I might be able to help.
He looks to you kind of confused. Sally kind of looks to Brooklyn and says, if you want, I can lead your friend or you. I know you have ways of healing the ill.
Yeah, we can go check on him.
Okay.
There's no need. Just have him come have dinner with us.
If he's sick, he can't move, Vincent.
You should bring him here. Let him eat. I'm going to cast Heroes Feast.
I don't know what that does.
It heals a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of...
Okay.
I just posted it. Bring the sick.
Bring everyone.
Well, we can do up to 12.
She kind of nods her head, looking as Brooklyn kind of... The character would understand what the spell does. Would kind of nod, and Sally says, I'll do my best to bring him. I'm assuming after setting the table, kind of placing everything, you begin the incantation.
I would wait
Okay.
until they get here because it takes 10 minutes to cast it, but it only lasts for an hour. So I want to make sure everybody has time to eat.
Gotcha.
1,000 gold.
No, it doesn't have a duration.
It says that the feast takes 1 hour to consume. And okay, sorry. I read that wrong.
The feast is basically a consumable item that you are creating.
We have to eat it in an hour.
Well,
right.
It takes you an hour to eat it.
So it's a hot dog eating contest, is that what you're saying?
Yes. It's that biggest steak contest where your picture's going to be on the wall if you win. But yeah, no, I'm gonna cast that for everybody. And
okay. Bam! Lots of food. It's like if you've ever seen the movie Hook, it's literally like the once he starts being able to see the feast situation. Just like boom, lots of crazy foods, all the good stuff. Sally eventually brings her father, and they will sit and partake with you. Your hit point maximum will be increased for 24 hours after consuming the feast. So if you are consuming the feast, I need you to go ahead and roll 2d10 individually. Add those together, increase your maximum hit points by that amount for the duration.
Me and Shambles were the same thing.
7?
It's 10.
10. Oh. Gotcha, you rolled weird dice. Anywho, you also, for the next 24 hours, you would make...
to poison, frightened, makes all wisdom saving throws at advantage. So yeah.
Yeah, all wisdom saving throws with advantage.
Right.
Very good food. Amazingly good. If any conversations are wanting to be had over the dinner...
Yeah, like while we're eating, I'll mention that I ran into Sally's brother and that he died a hero's death.
Okay. Explaining it to her, you do see that she's moved by it, but then there's this kind of like... almost kind of like annoyed, kind of like... there might have been some kind of discourse between them that's not really coming to the surface, but it's not too hard to insight. And she kind of like feels like it's what he wanted, but it's absolutely not what the family wanted. Anyway, they are absolutely proud of their son and the acquisition of the egg, and the Cloud Racers are very grateful for the assistance. And the father actually jokingly says, "Wow, you can cure that. I'm surprised you can't even just stop the storms. Make it a nice fishing day tomorrow. With all your power, master at the hand."
Too bad. Even
Hold on,
Beth's
let me
not
read.
that great.
Hold on, let me read. He starts flipping through his
Give
book.
me a minute.
Nobody can change the weather. Don't even try, Vincent. Fishing's done.
What? Anyway,
100% eat spaghetti, I guess.
Again, it's raining, it's tumultuous, but it is only about mid-afternoon time-wise. If you want to keep traveling, you could probably make it to Kelswar before nightfall. Yeah, you can't cast aethermal spells yet.
Sure, I can with my glove.
Coat.
Throw it on.
It's been on.
No, it hasn't. He hasn't put it on yet.
I have not put it on yet.
Oh, okay, smart fella.
Yeah, he's not Rooklyn. Oh, by the way, I think it's just a paladin curse. Because Jonah in my Friday game did something stupid like that. He threw on a magic item that he wasn't supposed to. It's like, yeah, I attuned to it. Yeah, I attuned to it. He's done it like 2 or 3 times, and I just keep going, okay, man. One of these is going to be cursed one time. Or cursed. Anyway, do you want to travel through the rest of the day? You could probably make it to Keltwar before nightfall if you don't run into anything afoul.
I will ask around town after dinner about the whatever killings have been going on the road north of here.
Yeah, the troglodytes is what they found them out to be
Troglodyte.
coming down from the Howling Hills. The Comus Palatinus reported that was the case, and their knights are currently scouring the hills for their tribes and killing them. The Comus Palatinus being the knights that traveled with the railroad.
Well, do we want to consider that handled?
It's definitely handled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then, yeah. If we want
Yeah,
to
I
travel,
guess-
continue travel, we can continue travel.
Head north.
Out of nowhere.
Okay. If you travel out to Kelswar, I needed 3 d20 rolls.
Are we staying the night here, or is it not night?
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
afternoon.
like afternoon right
It
now.
was mid-afternoon when you served out the feast, so it'd basically be like, an hour or so before evening time after the feast.
And we don't want to stay the night since it's storming as well?
Sounds like they want
In
to
the
walk.
town, at least? Can I go outside and whistle for my horse?
Yeah, it doesn't immediately appear, but who knows by morning. If you
I'll
stay
be
here.
walking. Yeah, well,
Are you just gonna walk under it like an umbrella?
it's something. Ride it so I don't have to walk.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't show up yet, but do you folks want to stay in Banser for the night with your folks, Brooklyn, or do you want to continue to Kelswar, which is, you're going to arrive in Bluegate tomorrow night if you travel from Banser, or you're going to have to sleep out in the fields if you travel from Kelswar past Bluegate. Either way, the safer way would be Banser to Bluegate during the day.
Or
Yeah.
we can sleep and then I can teleport us to Bluegate.
Yeah, and then you can travel from there for a full day's worth.
Correct.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds better.
All right. Cool. Yeah, the night goes by pretty much uneventfully. It does get pretty heavy in the rain department. Very, very heavy indeed. And Brooklyn, you've lived here your entire life, and you can only remember it ever getting this bad once in your childhood. It's one of those situations where you're now immune to being frightened. You're no longer capable of becoming frightened, but it's definitely a source of that original kind of determination to defeat fear, that weathering the rattling of the wood and paneling on the house, shaking the entire earth beneath you with each royal, and you just remember how bad it was when you were a kid. But
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Would Grok, with his knowledge of nature, sort of know that this is an unnatural storm?
It's not unnatural. It's absolutely natural. This is
Okay.
definitely a situation that's normal. So Cloudy Lake gets its name because it's usually pretty overcast around it. And when it picks up, it picks up. It gets heavy. It gets hard. It's the best analogy I can give to it in real life would be a Lake Michigan. It's a very tumultuous kind of lake. But yeah, you wake up in the morning after sleeping like a baby because, again, immune to frightened. When you wake up and open the doors to look outside, it's that beautiful kind of after a heavy rain sunshine. You're like, all right. But everyone gathers up their things. Your parents are handing you lots of food for the road. And you're not going to be traveling on the road from here. You're going to go step outside and teleportation circle off to where you're going. But they
I
still
don't stop them.
hand you a bunch of food. There's cakes. There's some meats that have been well salted. Basically enough for rations for 5 days worth. But yeah, step outside, and Benson, the Hand of Mutis, will then cast Teleportation Circle to teleport you to the Hall of Arcana, or the School of Benson in the city of Bluegate. Looks like
I
he's being
imagine so.
talked at. We'll go ahead and assume that's the case. If he retcons it, he retcons it. You appear in the very familiar, location. No one stops you or bothers you as you make your way down into the base of Bluegate. Any business in Bluegate that you want to engage in, or do you want to just continue from there out into the world?
I don't think I have anything to do good, so
I'll take a little stroll through the streets, see how the place is shaping up.
Yeah, Bluegate's
with,
Bluegate.
Mardigan influence.
Yeah, Bluegate's Bluegate. It definitely seems like this town is a lot more lively, even this early in the morning. It definitely feels like there is. It definitely feels like there is much more commerce going on. Even from just outside of the Hall of Arcana, you can hear the din of ringing metal as the blacksmith seems to be kind of alive and active. It feels like there's been like a breath of new life into the town. You would see that Benson is informed by an attendant that there are more applicants. There's also a notice from the city of Bonrock, which mentions that there will be contest happening in Bonrock for the position of artificer at the school, and this should be over within a month's time. And then classes can resume beyond that point.
There's an artifice competition.
Yeah, in Bonrock.
Sweet.
They're apparently fighting over the opportunity to teach at that school. Did you get any of that, Chody?
I heard they're fighting over to teach at the school, which is absolutely how things should be.
The artificers that you just left out of Bonrock are basically fighting to teach at the school.
Good. They should be.
And
My school's awesome.
The town of Bluegate is prospering, and the blacksmith across the street seems to be in full working order. Do you want to leave?
Nice.
Do you want to pick up provisions or anything? Is there anything that you want to try and get in Bluegate, or do you want to just head out onto the road towards Barrod?
the road.
I would honestly like to find somewhere to buy a few potions. Honestly, I don't have any potions of healing. I know it seems simple.
Sorry, before I forget. In the morning,
I'm a wizard. I don't need potions of healing. I'm a cleric now.
You were talking on the side.
I've also got 7.
I forgot to
I've
mention.
I
also
got a whole
7.
bunch.
You would have teleported one additional person with you to Bluegate, and it would have been the horse. The horse was there in the morning, so your Renahan and you group teleport to Bluegate, and your horse descends down the steps of the Hall of Arcana diligently enough, and
Here comes old Dizzy.
you know.
Mazing us in circles throughout the fucking world.
You now have your horse with you at Bluegate.
Perfect. I would like to make sure he's saddled up, take him to somewhere to take care of him for the evening.
Okay.
For at least a little bit, get him some food, get him rested up.
Well, no, not evening. You arrive in Bluegate in the morning.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean evening. I'm just saying take him to a stall and say, hey, brush him down, make sure his saddle's fitted. We're going to be going out soon.
Okay. Yeah, they, there's a stabler not too far from you near the gates. So they very quickly kind of, saddle him up and get all the other things up. You would note that the stabler actually says, we can't get a saddle on him. It's being very difficult. And you remember being told by the elf that gave you the horse that it will not wear a saddle or a bit and bridle.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, the guy's very confused and doesn't know how to handle the horse. But he brushes
And the horse
it.
just perfect. I want him to look pretty.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I also have 7 potions of healing if you want them.
I completely forgot I have a book now. I'm cool. I can help. I just wanted something to help get people up, to be totally honest.
Okay. And you'll be riding your steed, and everyone else will be walking.
I'll be on my broom.
Well, sure. It doesn't move faster than you walk, but yeah.
No, but it lets me not walk, so.
Well, okay. All right. If you're traveling, 1, 2,
I like this person.
4,
I want
5,
its mane
6,
braided.
7. You would be able to travel 7 hexes in a day, because you're not really
You think
stopping
they
for
could
much.
resist braiding that horse's hair?
I'm hoping not
They
because I want
absolutely
it
did.
absolutely, and I want a bow in it.
It's
Like a
got like
bunch of
flowers
bows.
braided in.
Hell yeah.
They'll do it. The horse doesn't seem to like it very well.
Oh, really?
She seems
It's an elven horse. It's like
Funny.
plants.
she hates it. Anyways,
Poor Dizzy.
they did. Then 7 tiles worth of movement. You'll make it to the way station that you avoided last time you were on this road. That said, I need 3 rolls for random encounters. Relatively low.
I'll take one.
And there is actually a forced encounter, so.
A
I got
5.
a 4 and a 5. We got.
I got a 12.
That's
These are
enough.
good.
Okay, so you're traveling. It is a bright, sunshiny day. To the south, you can kind of feel a wind coming up over the Hamstring Hills from Cloudy Lake, presumably being kind of offset by the storm that kind of rolled through that area. But as you're kind of like looking off into the southern kind of horizon up onto the Hamstring Hills, you see a very strange sight, to be sure. Floating, maybe 150 to 200 feet above the highest hill you can see, is a very familiar sight for some of you and a very unfamiliar sight for others. Those of you that were on top of the conglomerate kind of factory or the synods, observatory, whichever you want to call it, near Agios, the Sacculum of the Bones, that ship that was shot out by Raya
And Shambles.
and Shambles,
Mirage.
and the whole team, yeah,
Who wants the team ever?
it is present, just lingering over the hills to the
How's
south.
it looking?
It looks like it's in perfect condition.
Man, I was hoping it would at least be like a real shitty patch job. Like we marred it pretty good.
It may not be the same ship, or it is, and they
Uh.
did really good job of repairing it.
Where exactly is it from? Our location?
I just put a marker on there. Let me ping it.
Sorry?
There.
Oh, okay.
And that would be close to nightfall, so evening time. You'll make it to the
Well,
way
that's gonna
station.
have to go.
Yeah, you'll make it to the way station before you go to sleep, but yeah.
What direction did it appear to be going into, or is it more or less
It's
anchored
stationary.
moored?
Yeah, it looks stationary.
I'll take first watch. You guys get some shut eye. I'm gonna keep an eye on it.
Do you sleep now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There were some drawbacks, I'll admit.
But he can still now.
I have to sleep and eat and breathe.
You
That
had
one
to
was a
eat
killer.
before.
I can't squeeze through tight holes.
Oh,
Gonna buzz through them. So are you taking... You'll make it to the way station. You don't have to sleep out in the wilds. It's a small little tavern and inn.
okay.
You know. This one is one that you avoided last time. Let me see if I've got it here in my notes. This is the Barracks Island is the name of it. And there's like wood cutouts of palm trees that have been kind of like placed outside of the door. There are torches that have been kind of set up that seem to be burning off some sort of oil or something. It's very strange. And there's a lot of people kind of like out milling about on kind of like a balcony or porch rather, kind of like set off to like a low kind of cut to the hill that it's kind of resting on.
Also, just a heads up, I'm pretty sure everybody would have lost their temporary hit points. Just a heads up.
Oh, no. So it hasn't been 24 hours. It's only been about 16 by this
8.
point.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Because you slept and then you traveled.
Got it.
Now, when you take your long rest here, then yeah, the Hero's Feast will be gone. If you want to cast it again here at the tavern and keep it going, you can.
It's really expensive.
It was. It looked real expensive.
Yeah, it was expensive. So
But
I'm gonna hold it for something.
You got rid of an old man's cold.
And I hopefully made a couple friends. So there.
When you get into this way station, like I said, there's about a dozen or so people out on the terrace or balcony that are kind of like enjoying some sort of food. Not sure what. It smells great though. And then when you kind of pop inside, there's maybe like half a dozen people inside who are quietly kind of drinking what appear to be kind of like stiff drinks. And there is a Undaunted behind the counter. Looks like it's kind of like the Envoy chassis of Undaunted. But it looks like it's been kind of covered with like flowers and adornments. And its chassis has been painted over to kind of be more bright and vibrant.
So
Very,
it matches my horse.
very tropical feel, not bright red.
Should we be getting a room?
I guess let's just get a room, go to sleep, so we can get this egg back.
Welcome
And
to
a-
Barracks Island. Can I assist you with food, drink, or bed? Says the Undaunted.
Is this the envoy?
Yeah.
I actually have a couple questions. Have you noticed the that floating artifice
Head
in
kind
the
of
sky to the south?
tilts off to the side, informational inquiry, then snaps his head back to you and says, I am sorry, no.
This seems really suspicious.
Bad OS.
Detection.
No, I've run into this.
That's what Shambles sounded like.
When Rooklyn says that, he kind of turns his head. Detection of paranoia and possible conspiracy theory. Snaps his head. No, do not be alarmed. We run a reputable establishment here. And kind of points down at the counter.
Have you
That
had
didn't
any?
make it better.
Have you had any contact from the Council of Coin? Shouldn't there be a some noble here to oversee this place?
Inquiries to outlandish board drone. Theme starts to kind of register in his head, and he kind of says, "One moment." Gestures to the
Was
back.
that not what they were discussing?
He kind of turns around and heads into the back. You hear a what? Not regulars. Then you hear someone kind of bustle out, pushing past the Undaunted. Kind of steps out. A wizened, elderly dragonborn with like a number of kind of growths kind of protruding from his jaw, kind of like old broken tendrils like around the head and crown. He appears to have kind of like a soft, like kind of bronze coloration to him, but it's actually modeled with kind of like a greenish tone, almost as if there was like a patina on his scale. He kind of walks over to the counter and kind of places his hand down on it and kind of looks at you and says, "You're asking for things that aren't drinks, beds, or food. You're going to confuse my friend here quite a bit. What were you saying? What were you asking?"
Oh, sorry. I was curious about that sailing ship up in the sky to the south, and just out of curiosity, I thought the Council of Coin and Bellum had intended to send a noble into this area.
Yeah, well, if they were going to send him anywhere, it'd probably be Barrot. We don't have any... I don't remember anybody passing through from Bellum.
No, forgive me. I was merely curious. I would assume it would be known if they had appointed someone.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, we haven't heard much from Barrot other than the folks that are there are starting to do travel traffic and also some trades with Bluegate. Seems like the folks who have taken up Barrot as their own are quite capable.
Glad to hear that.
And if I remember correctly, too, the Shivan Pass has actually received quite a bit of attention as well from Barrot. They're making traverses down into the Malik Plains, south of the Hamstrings, kind of western edge. Can't remember the name of the town on the other side of the Shivan. Shrugs.
Search me. Do I actually know it?
No, but kind
I
of,
don't think it's been brought up before.
yeah, thinking about where he's kind of talking about, Barrot is kind of near, hold on, the Shivan Pass, which is kind of like a cut through the Hamstrings western side. You know that there's probably settlements on the other side of the Hamstring, kind of in the Malik Plains, which is kind of this plain outcropping off to this left side there on the edge of the map.
Mm.
But yeah, let me see if I can't zoom in there for video purposes. So Barrod, Shivan Pass, Malik Plains, and then unknown town or settlement there. But I don't know anything about no flying boats. I know that they were.
It's like right outside your thing. You just gotta walk outside and see it.
I mean, it's a few miles. You could probably see it in the night sky.
Well, I'll go take a look here in a bit when I'm done reading. Shrugs. But no, I don't know anything about that. Only folks I know who have flying ships are conglomerate, and they're supposed to be all gone. So
That's what I thought.
might want to report that to Bluegate, I guess.
Give Benson a glance. You want to make contact?
Yeah, it would probably be a good idea. Sorry, I was thinking of doing other things.
Going to the boat,
Yeah.
taking it over like you
That
tried
one.
to last time.
I mean, it would
ending
be-
up killing Zach's character because you're shooting a cannon into the boat he's on.
No, we're shooting a cannon into the boat I was trying to board,
Yeah, that's right.
and then
Fell.
oh boy, did I ever flip that jump.
And you grew up as a tree. Anywho.
That's all I wanted. That's all he ever wanted. He wanted to be a tree again.
Absolutely. So yeah, what would you like to do? Stay here for the night? Try and figure out more about the conglomerate skycraft? Head to Barrod?
I would assume reach out to the Curios of Bluegate at the very least and let them know about the possible conglomerate ship.
Sending
Since
spell?
nobody else has those.
I'm kind of worried about leaving it because if it's gone, it could be hard to find it if it's someone who's not supposed to have it.
Sending spell?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and throw up your text.
See what they have to say.
All right. And besides that, are you going to stay here at Barracks Island for the night, or are you going to head on to Barrod in the middle of the evening? Go check out the conglomerate ship yourself. What do you guys do? It's maybe a
I'm trying to type out a message.
sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I was doing it too, so you got it.
It's maybe about an hour or so's walk on foot to get to the hill that the boat is over. How long has Andy been gone?
3 minutes.
Not acceptable.
You guys feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
I would like a drink out of a pineapple.
Okay. They don't have that, but what they do have are coconuts.
We'll go with it. Do they have umbrellas?
They do not have parasols for the cups. Instead, what they end up doing is handing you a very colorful, very brilliantly kind of tasseled stick that's kind of placed in. It looks like a spark or explosion. It's kind of like pink.
Celery?
It's kind of like pink,
Oh, okay.
pink topped with like kind of like bright kind of like it looks like tinsel on the edge of a stick, kind of like pulled out and kind of fastened to the end of a stick.
I drink it.
Almost like a pom-pom on a toothpick.
I try it.
All right. Yeah, it tastes like rum chata.
I drink a lot.
All right.
I send the sending spell that
To Raya. Look, you missed out on this.
No.
Screw you, dude. Still hate you. No, what Christinger put.
Okay. Okay. The reception is we will investigate it. Normally the Hall of Arcana would deal with matters like this, but as you have usurped them, we would hope that you might be willing to investigate it. If not, I can send message to Bellum. It's probably less than 25.
I would let the group know that it sounds like something we might want to investigate if we can.
I'm not comfortable letting it out of my sight.
Yeah,
That's
we
why
can-
I'm saying we might want to investigate it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure it won't take that
If-
long. for us to investigate it.
Best case scenario, we have a cooler way to go to Ruby Eye.
That's true.
I'm so doubtful that happens. Do we want to go by night?
Yes.
Okay. You travel out that way. And yeah.
Do all three of you have the means to fly?
I have a broom.
How long would it take to fly up to that location?
So if you're walking up to a point and then flying up to it, it's going to take about an hour. Everyone moves about the same speed as they would on foot. So, you make your way towards this craft, and you start to realize that it is a lot larger in proximity, much bigger than you estimated. I mean, you definitely can see it on the horizon. It definitely looks big off in the distance, but now that you're closer to it, it's gargantuan. It's massive.
It's a Tarrasque.
I would say that it's probably bigger than the whole of Banser and Kelswar combined.
Wow.
So we're talking hundreds of feet across. It's very, very large. I'm trying to find my handout for it. Bear with me here. Dead. Right? Is it dead? Okay. Looking at it from its side, kind of getting an understanding of its bottom as well, you would note that the front section of it, bear with me here.
What direction is it facing?
Looks like it's facing north.
Okay, so the bow is facing us from the start.
It looks like the craft itself is very massive. It looks like it has kind of three sections looking at it from the side, but looking at it from directly below, it's kind of a little less analyzable. The little ship there is for scale for me. Don't worry about it. But very massive. On the front section, it's kind of like a saucer or like a large disc, the bottom of which has kind of an almost fleshy-like mass to it, and an almost maw-like structure in the center. In the middle of the craft, it appears that a very massive set of pylons is clamped onto a hill-sized green stone, which kind of vibrates with color. And you would note that there looks like there is a lot of structures on its top that look like they're buildings, operational, kind of functional, almost like there's a town built on top of this aircraft. Yeah, they appear to be, I mean, it appears to be fully functioning. Lights are kind of on, there's a very apparent movement to it. And looking at the hill that it's over, you can see that whatever that green rock was, or is, it appears to have come from a massive crater that's directly underneath it. How close do you want to get to the crater? Or do you want to just go straight up to the ship?
I want to get reasonably close to the crater.
Okay.
Just to see. So it looks like they excavated this
The
and
big
are
rock
carrying
was
it.
pulled out of the earth, yeah.
I'd like to get an idea of if there were any like leavings of it, if it was all one solid piece.
Sure.
And
Yeah, once you kind of make your way up the hill, you can see that the mouth of the crater is kind of, just broken open. You can see dirt kind of flung off to the side. Kind of getting up to a ridge where you can actually look down into the hole. You can see the remnants of what appears to be some sort of kind of like underground structure that's been kind of torn apart and kind of blasted apart as well. There are a number of small groups, each one maybe 3 to 5 individuals. And in each of the group, the one thing they all have in common is there's one member who's holding a staff up that's kind of blue in coloration and is glowing at its top with a very bright, vibrant blue. And it's almost as if they're trying to kind of like use these strange lights sources to detect the area inside of the crater. It looks like they're performing a very thorough sweep. You can actually see kind of like a patterning to it, like they're moving out of the crater in a very organized fashion. And yeah, the rock was probably a good, 150 feet wide itself. So we're looking at a crater that's probably a good 300 feet in diameter. Probably about 8 of these parties, anywhere between 3 and 5 individuals in each of those groups.
I feel that we should just go up to the ship and not risk alerting them, honestly.
Do you think we could fight a city's worth of men?
I think that we could sneak in and figure out what's going on, at least.
I don't know about that sneak-in part.
Works for me. Didn't you get... Oh, you didn't. Yeah, you did. You got the elven boots.
No, dropped it.
Croc got boots.
Well,
We'll just
Like,
make
oh,
him stick.
awesome.
you'll be the last on board.
Yep. I'm pretty sneaky.
I
so
will.
can
I will say we should retreat away from the crater a little ways before making an ascent.
I agree with that.
You said these the search parties. There's about 8 of them. And they're kind of combing this area.
Yeah, combing the crater in particularly.
Right. I would prefer we go around to the stern on the back end of the ship. Fly up from beneath it. That's likely our best bet at a blind spot.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. All right. So as you kind of ascend skyward, you would note that the back has a number of these long, kind of like needle-like things coming off the back of it. And as you come closer, you'd see that on them they have large propeller blades that seem to be kind of moving the ship. They're moving slowly. It seems like it's kind of like in an oscillating way to kind of keep the ship kind of stasis locked or kind of like, held in its current position. As you're ascending towards the back end, you would notice a very large, like, kind of draft up there that's kind of distorting. You'd also see that it looks like there's kind of a landing kind of area on the back end that seems like, a perfect place to kind of step down from, flight if you were wanting to. That would be kind of, let me actually just see if I can't make a map of this. Since you're wanting to do it. Bear with me here. Boop, boo, doo, doo.
In your drawing there, the bow, the front of the ship that's on the right side,
Yes.
that dome structure. Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, that dome portion on the bottom is kind of fleshy. It almost looks like it's moving in the middle like
Organic.
a maw of some sort, yeah.
Neat.
Let's see. My library. Refresh it. A skyship. Okay.
We're going off the path.
No, yeah, it's fine. I didn't expect you to fly up to it, but here we are.
I left my super laser back in the south.
Okay. So, should be able to pull your tokens down. And then again, the dimensionality of this thing is incorrect, as I just ad hoc made this map, but I would say from back to front, we're looking at around 750 feet.
Feet?
So like one round for shambles.
750 feet, yeah.
For this whole ship?
From front to back. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? Am I wrong? Is that not a lot?
Yeah, that's not very much.
Okay, then
It's not 2 towns.
oh, okay.
Yeah, no, my house is 1,500 square feet.
Square feet. No, I'm not saying square feet. I'm saying long.
You're saying length.
That's
About
still
its
not
turn.
very
It's still
much,
not.
man.
It's still not a whole lot.
Okay.
Maybe 750 yards.
Hold on. Yeah, let's go with that. 750 yards.
That's better. Okay, cool.
Because that'd just be times 3. That's easy math for me. Times 3-ish. Fuck yards. Anyways. The point is here you are. You're moving towards the back end, and the back end section that I was mentioning, which I'm kind of pointing to here, that's kind of a nice landing spot. Do you land, or do you try and sneak up and land?
So the propellers you were speaking of, those are these.
Long
Red that
protrusions here.
Okay.
And also down there.
So, like, out of character, if we just destroy the propellers, the whole ship is problem solved, right?
I don't imagine that these small propellers are.
It just
If
stabilizes
nothing else,
it.
it slows it down.
Never mind.
Those of you that are smarter than me might want to take a good look at some of the artifice, Benson. And otherwise, I'm gonna be kind of scanning the edge of the deck from below, seeing if there are any search parties, any lookouts, etc.
Okay.
I'll approach a little further up.
Okay. Yeah, and as you kind of make your way up a bit, like, nothing's really changed. Doesn't seem like anyone's expecting, whatever you're doing here.
Do we? I go ahead and also look for to see how this is running and if we can bring it down if need be.
Make a Arcana check.
What about that
13?
Well outside your capabilities. You do not know how this thing is elevated at all.
Any of you want to take a look at that big ass rock?
It's not just a boulder, it's a rock. Preferably somebody could probably nature.
I'll move in that direction.
Okay.
I'm keeping a lookout for our infiltration party.
Okay. As you kind of get closer to it, you kind of get a similar sensation, like a familiar sensation to one you had back in the past when you approached a kind of greenish substance.
It's the green stuff. I'm backing away as soon as I realize that.
As you kind of like pull back and away, you realize that whatever the structure that is holding it, it seems there's kind of like this massive degree of kind of insulation and such that kind of keeps it kind of locked in its place, and also seems to kind of keep it kind of not allowed to kind of like trespass into the craft itself. It looks like whatever this device is, it was built for purpose for this, and this precisely.
So what's stopping us?
The rock itself creates an anti-magic
It's the
field.
anti-magic rock.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a solid form of the liquid you've already encountered. The Orbo.
I don't like that.
Well, the ship is keeping it neutralized.
You feel like if you approach the raw rock, you would probably lose your magical auras and possibly descend very, very quickly. But if you stay back enough, you realize that you know what it is. It is generating an anti-magic field. It just seems like the ship's crane system, the thing that's holding it, is barring it from affecting the ship.
Can I sneak around and see if I can look in any rooms or see if we can see anything?
Okay. You fly up and just kind of head up. You would notice that all of the exterior vantage points on this kind of side of the craft are all doors. Everything seems to just be doors.
Can I try to?
Yeah, you walk up to one.
I'll land at one of the doors and post up.
Are you landing like here-ish? Or like back here? Where are you landing?
What are these smaller ones
Doors.
above the rock?
Yeah, you fly up to them, you land. There is no need to try them. They have no door like frames or anything. You walk into it, and you realize you're kind of walking into kind of an open space inside. You very quickly identify that this is not adjacent to the door you just saw next to this. This is an extra dimensional space of its own.
This ship is awesome.
You
This
kind
is
of
too big.
walk into this room, and you can see that there's a number of individuals in kind of gray robes, conglomerate markings on the gray robes. And it looks like they're kind of covered in like soot and dirt, and it seems like they're pounding the crap out of rocks. You see someone nearby holding a clipboard with like a magical looking stylus or like pen with a massive peacock feather attached to it, kind of turn and look over in your direction and say, excuse me,
I did say sneaking.
he seems to look right over in your direction.
He doesn't care.
He
We
doesn't-
just land in a entryway, man.
Yeah, he looks over in your direction and says, excuse me, were you sent here for a purpose?
Oh, we were told this was an Amazon fulfillment center. We're looking for work.
Well, we can definitely make you work for way less than you're worth, and
It's at least as big.
here are a couple of bottles for you. You know what they're for. No, I'm kidding. But you obviously don't say that, right?
Obviously.
It was a dope joke. But he says, like he said, what are you here for? Who sent you?
We're here to do some.
And he kind of stops and says, apologies, Monsieur. And kind of bows to Benson.
I nod back. Thank you.
Out of character,
Howard-
remember what he's wearing.
Conglomerate, yeah.
Doesn't my plate armor also have a conglomerate?
If you're
symbol?
just looking for an inspection, I can walk you through what's going on at current. And
Yeah, we're looking to make sure everything's going smoothly and working well.
of course, you must be from the front of the Talbernay. That's someone I haven't seen you before. Are you replacing Guynod?
One of them, it was a quick replacement.
Oh.
So
Understandable. Well, lot of going-ons here. We need to be out of this place with our problems as quickly as possible. Gestures over to the rocks that are being kind of broken apart. We're making sure no traces or anything of the Orbo are left behind. Any of our refuse that's left behind because of the wars of these folk is not going to plague them in times in the future. Making sure that every single piece of filth that was left behind by our predecessors is taken away, as per the treaty. We don't seem to have any issues here. This is a very massive deposit of the material. I assume that there was something down below that was of great importance. And you see him kind of like leaning in, like he's hoping that you'll kind of say something. Like you can get the vibe that he doesn't know what they're, cleaning up, but you do understand the vibe that he knows his job is just to make sure every bit of rock that was sent up is cleaned of the material and they put it somewhere.
each cog in the wheel seems to have its purpose, and you seem to be doing yours quite well, sir. It seems things are running well.
You hear a loud klaxon kind of flare in the background, like a loud kind of siren, and you see like a couple of the gray mages kind of get up and very quickly move to a position in the room. The room that you're standing in is, very, kind of simply lit, basically for purpose work, for, minuscule work. It's got a decent amount of light to it, but you see them kind of huddle around this one section of the room, which seems to be just kind of ripping apart, and you see them pull out a set of tongs and pick up small bit of green pebblish like rock, pick it up and kind of move it back over to the tables. The floor, which was being kind of ripped apart, slowly starts to kind of reform.
Oh, well.
Almost as if the magic was being torn apart by the stone. The magic of this extra dimensional space.
It seems like you have a very good crew here, very calm under pressure.
I apologize for that oversight in them dropping the material. You are much too kind with your statement, and I expect a full error list to be reported. Thank you. If there's anything else you would like to survey?
Not at this point. This room seems to be going on quite well.
We are doing our due diligence to make sure that all of the sins of our past are cleansed up.
Very, very honorable work. Thank you, my good sir.
Thank you for your
Bow
charity.
to him and walk off.
Bows kind of awkwardly to you. Like that probably isn't a common pleasantry.
I wouldn't say bow, just more of a good
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not a full bow, but
you realize that doesn't appear to be a very common pleasantry, and he kind of heads back to his work, and you head off. Are you staying in this room?
Loud enough for him to hear. I'm going to speak to Benson. Lord Majir, when will we be leaving this continent? I don't feel safe carrying this garbage above these innocents.
Ah, you're right. And I look back to the worker and be like, "What's our ETA on leaving? When do you think we'll be all finished up?"
We are dealing with the aftermath. The last of the scouring parties are down below. I believe they've reported nothing. Hopefully by mid-morning we will be done with the materials and have everything we need, leaving nothing of this source here. Once we've deposited this back in the carry-on, we will then continue back to the next source, and which you have yet to tell us where that would be, Master Magier. Do you know? Just so we have an idea of what weather we'll be dealing with?
Right now, we'll make sure to keep you updated as soon as possible. We should all know, and once we get back to the rest of the group and confer, we'll let everyone else know.
Very good. Hopefully,
Thank you.
Hopefully, it doesn't go like that strange place up in the mountains to the south. It was terrible.
Yes, that was absolutely exhausting.
Savages will pay for what they've done.
Is that what you say? How dare they shoot us? Yeah.
Playing with relics they can't begin to understand.
A meta commentary on yourself. I love it. Okay.
Although it was wicked cool. They sure kicked our asses on that one.
I kind of give Shambles a look and kind of.
If you step out and look into the next room, you'll see that it's very similarly kind of staffed. Looks like all of the ones on this level are the same.
Yeah, manual labor.
It looks like they're just cleaning up the rocks and making sure that every single piece is accounted for.
So I once we get away, I look at Shambles. I was like, I don't think this is a bad thing, honestly.
No. I don't know enough about the conglomerate. Maybe they're trying to turn a new leaf.
Maybe.
I don't like the idea of them hanging out with this giant rock over, everything.
The question is going to be what they want to do with it afterwards. Are they going to try to weaponize it in some sort of a way, or are they actually trying to get rid of it? That's the question.
Based on what he said, they're taking it to something or somewhere called the carry-on. And the word carry-on means corpse.
Yeah.
Is that the mouth? Are they feeding it to the mouth of the ship?
You don't know for sure. He had mentioned that the name of the ship was the Tabernae.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many times we can trick people into thinking you're important.
Yeah, I think we got kind of lucky on that one.
I rolled for it.
Then I got lucky. So.
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't know if you
rather
wanna-
not do anything that could make them drop this, or
What were you going to say, Andy?
Well, I was just going to say that, there's obviously some, political machinations going on with the dragons, and I'm not sure we want to complicate things even further by messing with the conglomerate right now.
I think this is like a new conglomerate. They're trying to clean up basically radioactive material
What
from
the
their
old
old
one did.
wars. So I say we give them a pass. We tut and get off board.
I agree. It seems like they're not doing anything nefarious at this point.
Agree?
Yeah.
As you begin to descend, you'll see that below there are a couple of lights kind of ascending up pretty quickly. It looks like small craft are kind of levitating up to the ship. And you can actually see kind of where it appears they're heading because there are these strange lights that seem to be flaring around you. It seems that they're going to enter into the ship at this point here, on the back of the craft. So as you're descending, you kind of have an idea of where they're going to enter in. And you would note that it looks like about 3 more of these parties remain below. And you can actually kind of see where their crafts are from the skyward position. Looks like these small skiffs are, not very massive or anything. Pretty simple kind of craft that are ascending up into the bowels of the ship on the back end. Just keeping your distance from them, or do you want to investigate the ground parties further?
The ground parties will be menial labor. They're not going to get us very much information, I wouldn't think.
Okay.
Do we want to check out more of the ship?
No, I'd say we just need to be.
I think we're
Yeah.
done here.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we're taking our leave.
You head down from Tabernet and you move to the ground, making your way back within about an hour's time to the Barracks Island. And once there, I'm assuming rest up.
Yeah.
Switch the music back to the hunt. Okay. After resting, full long rest, I'm assuming from there it's travel on to Barrod, am I right? You'll be making this effort in a little more than half a day. I need to get a random encounter roll. I only need 2 for this one.
A 6.
A 12.
Okay. Yeah, perfectly clear day. No problems. When you come up to Barrod, the last time you were here, it was quite cold, a bit snowy. It was like late or early spring, kind of, or getting into spring, but kind of close to the mountainside. Now it's completely cleared out, and you also see that there are massive bundles of lumber. There's like a bunch of resources that have been kind of placed around the place, and there's a very clear sign that construction is currently underway. A number of the houses, buildings, and establishments you saw when you were here fighting the dragon, El Smoothbrain, I believe his name was, you would see that it, in the very short amount of time since then, has actually been worked on quite heftily. The main source of focus for the people who were repairing, based on what you can see, appears to be the House of the Curios, and it looks like it's basically been returned to its original splendor. Lots of laborers, people moving about the town. Lots of folks here look like they're hardworking people. Some of them, definitely have a look of, they might be from Bluegate. Some of them look like they might be from kind of, farther west.
Good deal.
Just folk.
Happy to see it. I don't really have anything to...
No, we're close now. I'd like to get the egg back as fast as possible.
Okay. If you just travel, it'll take you the better part of the rest of the day and also the next day to get up to Vashwindir. If you are just leaving right now, you'd have to... either way, you're going to have to sleep up on the mountain. It's probably better to do it earlier rather than later, if you get my meaning. So leaving at, mid-afternoon, traveling up the mountain, sleeping, and then traveling from the morning while you're on the mountain is a better choice than sleeping here and then going up. But do what you want. Okay. If that's what you're doing, you make your way up, and not much happens in that first leg, but for your rest, I don't think we have any anti-sleepers anymore. So what's your watch schedule looking like?
Grok could take first watch.
I'll
I'll
do
take-
last.
Second.
Okay. And Brooklyn, do you want to join someone on a watch?
Yeah, I'll take second watch as well, I guess.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me 3d20s. And I'm assuming these are 4-hour lengths. Or 3-hour lengths, because you only need 6 hours of sleep.
Second is 10.
Okay. What about third watch? Shody?
I'm trying to see if I can set anything, like alarms or anything, but I'll roll.
Okay. Alarm's
I just-
a ritual, so I'll allow it. You can cast it from your book.
I believe I got a 10.
Okay.
Is that what I rolled, or is that from before?
That's a roll.
No, you got a 10.
That's
Okay.
good. And then Grok, go ahead and roll me one. Okay. Quite lucky on these random encounters, you all. No problems there. You travel up the next day. I need one last d20 roll, and then we'll be in the back.
Brett, take it.
A 3.
Absolutely perfect, flawless travel, folks. Great job. You had no problems at all. and you make it to Voshwindir. Now, if you remember, there's a bit of a travel into Voshwindir. You have to travel inside of a cave structure
Oh, the setting.
to get there. It's not the setting. But
It looks like a
What's it like?
setting.
no, it's not. It's Hall of the Horn King, I think, or Seven Pillar Hall. It's not the setting. Oh wait,
Have we
no,
been to a setting?
no,
This
sorry.
is the Giants
This
town.
is this is the giant. This is the Frost Giant setting. It is called Voshwindir. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It. Thank you. There's
Come
also
on.
a part of a module for giants called the setting. Hell, it's been so long since you've been here. You are still a robot. But yeah, you enter in from the north face, that north cavern, and once here, you can travel past here, but this is the Frost Giant area. You can travel past it to the Heat of Hazil if you'd like, just to place the egg. Or you can coordinate with the Frost Giants here and maybe have some conversations with them, with the Jarl of the Frost Giants, whose name is somewhere around here.
We could do that on the way back.
Oh,
Noldos.
we should talk to him.
Sure.
Yeah, just to get permission of being in their mountain.
Okay.
Well, I think they'd be happy to know that we're returning the Hazel's egg.
If you go up to 17, which was the Jarl's home, knock on the massive door. It opens. The Jarl himself kind of looks to you and addresses you and says, you return. Changed. Wasn't.
Oh, me? Yeah.
Wizened and older. You come back for purpose. You come back to return Azil to the heat.
That's this guy's thing.
Bingo!
We just wanted to say hi, be polite.
From what we understand, you have great burdens from what has been seen here in our conflict. It was your efforts and the efforts of your friend Donovan that allowed us to re-merge with the fire giants on the north sides of the heat. Your
Really?
efforts have brought great peace to Voshwindir.
That's excellent. How is Donnie? I haven't seen him since
He
the
descended.
battle at
He descended the mountain to fight alongside those humans of Bluegate. Some of ours went with him. It is understood that he is a bloodline of great importance amongst mortal men. Or just men, because he's mortal too. Why would he say mortal? That's weird. He says men.
He's got this voice.
Yeah, I sound like I'm really ancient and old. Anyway, if it is the case that you, gesturing to Rooklyn, are to serve as Hazil's caretaker, you must have a quick and easy method of transporting yourself here. I will grant you 2 boons. He leads you into his hall, which is the first time you've really been into the hall proper, and he leads you to a back end, and immediately Benson understands what one of those 2 boons is going to be. There's a massive, much bigger than what you're used to, teleportation circle engraved on the ground. You very quickly kind of mentally take it in, write it.
Say, can I get it?
Yeah, you write it down, and he says, good, you understand.
Does he need to use like 2 pages to copy the whole thing since it's so dang
No,
big?
he just scales it down. He then kind of reaches into his bag and pulls something out. You can see that he's holding it, and it's like very minuscule in his hands. Reaches down to Rooklyn and kind of makes like a dropping gesture, dropping whatever it is into your hand. Once it hits your hand, you can see that it is a ring. And the ring has the symbol of Hazil kind of on it. And he says, this ring was wielded by the caretakers. Formerly, it was humans, folk like you in the lowlands that came up and associated with the fire giants and the frost giants to ensure that Haziel would be returned to us in our time of need. This ring grants you one boon and one boon alone. If you speak Haziel's name while focusing upon it, it will bring you to the heat of Haziel. You and you alone.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Very good.
You get a get out of jail free card?
Yeah, it's an action to activate it.
Neat.
I will put that baby on.
All right.
Does it require attunement or?
No.
Okay.
I would assume that conversation kind of devolves into possible looking around the town, but it's frost giant sized, so you're not really buying. It's like going to a Costco and you don't need to buy like 20 pounds of mayonnaise, you know?
You do anyway.
You do it anyway. You don't want to do that. But eventually, you
That
travel.
way you have it, though.
You travel through onwards to the heat of Haziel. It's just as you left it, on fire in a volcano. There are some remnants of battle, but it looks like there has been some efforts to kind of scrub clean the destruction that was left by the fight between Frost and Friar. And you place the egg in its cradle.
Yep.
It seems to glow even brighter, and then it starts to kind of cover itself with an icy structure and solidify like crystal, like when you first found it.
Is he good?
Appears
Brent's so happy.
to be safe.
Brooklyn will cry.
I'll give him a minute.
After that minute stuff, we get up and look, alright, we could go deal with whatever we need to now.
I'll be real, boys. That was easy.
You guys fell.
All of that.
You
Yeah.
fell into no
Yeah.
random encounters. That was a lot of great rolling.
Even though you said one was a must.
The boat, yeah, it was a must see.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about there was
We
one
had a
that was
lot of
had
we
to
had a
happen.
lot of very
No.
civil conversation and ideas. Avoided combat. I'll be damned.
Let's go fight that knight.
Let's go talk to the dragon, I guess, you know? Or if we want to do more side quests, we could always
Go
We have more
punch
side
whatever is
quests?
go.
closest.
We could go fishing.
No, it was too rainy.
We could hunt for the white dragon horde. I'm sure we haven't found that yet.
White Dragon's dead.
Yeah,
The
but his
horde.
horde was never found.
But yeah, once done with that, what would you like to try and do? Someone said they had business in Bellum. You do not have a teleportation circle back to Bellum.
I don't want to deal with the Bellum stuff until
We could always teleport to Benish and then fly over the water to go deal with the stuff in the low wilds. I remember there was something we needed to do there.
The belt,
Yeah,
clearing the Tower of the Dark Star.
we could always go do that.
over at Esmuton.
Well,
Esmuton.
It's like right across from Benish on the water there.
the Tower of the
Oh.
Dark Star is supposedly plagued with monsters. It needs to be cleared, and you need to find the route into its subterranean port so that people from Benish can move their boats into the subterranean ports. Because remember, it's like a series of tunnels, and they don't know the way. Leaving it will be easier than entering it. The labyrinthine segment of tunnels.
It's up to you guys. We've got at least one more Raya-less.
I mean, tunnel full of monsters, a spa day and shopping. I don't know.
If you are keeping in communication via sending with Raya, you will know that he's just now passing the Mantle Forest. Time-wise, he's moving a lot slower than you guys bouncing across the world, running across the fields.
Or
Yeah.
is
Oh yeah.
I guess if we feel like doing, stuff that we've got on the back burner, I wouldn't mind checking out Tower of Dark Star.
Yeah, that works for me. We have two ways we can get there. We can TP to Benish and then fly across the water. TP to Benson's friend's tower and fly across the water. Or TP to Benish and then book it all the way around through Bellum back up there.
We could get a boat, maybe.
So we've never been to our final destination before, right?
If that's where we want to go, yes. We've never been on this this northern part of this island.
Okay.
The Beldlands.
Peninsula.
But if we do a boat one, we can have a pirate themed adventure. I'm just saying.
I was hoping to do that, but that boat was too big and made of magic that there was just no way. There was no way I was piloting a boat that had a mouth.
Straight up Pirate of Dark Waters, this stuff, man.
If it was a little one, yes, I'd have absolutely taken it.
We totally could have taken one of those little skiffs.
But I would guess go to Benish and look for a means of crossing the river.
Okay. So yeah, there is a teleportation circle in Benish. It's at House Saroth or Amerneth. If you want to teleport there, that's fine. Teleportation
You
circle.
guys good with that?
You have one available for you there, Benson?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Bamp, you appear in the city of Benish, inside the lavish gardens and, bright, beautiful city of Benish. It sounds like you're not going to stay there too long, but I'll go ahead and throw up the map still. Maybe. Yeah, sure, I got it. And I'll change the music here too. But yeah, Benish.
Benish was the one that wasn't officially a city.
It is not officially, or it wasn't officially a city when you were there. If you do some,
Didn't we do shopping here?
yeah, if you do some inquiring, you will find out that it has since acquired the title of city. It has enough people in it to be considered a city.
That's really big for not being a city.
It was mostly unpopulated, so it was a city, then it was a town, then it is a city again.
The
So
housing market.
It seems that the indicators for a city are populous, not so much size. But yeah, Benish, you would be teleporting in, as I mentioned, it looks like your tokens are already present. Shambles is a robot, though. Just like the good old days. But yeah, there were places here that, had magic items for sale. The markets. And there was also means to acquire such goods through the family, but I don't think you'll be able to do so without Raya.
we could totally take over a house here.
Maybe.
What?
All these houses
What?
without
How's the
populace?
Well,
hell, I can't remember his name. The guy I fought for at the guy who sponsored me at the
yeah,
tournament.
Amerneth.
How's he doing?
Yeah, he's there at the house. He's,
I thought he wanted to teach at the school.
he teaches at the school, but he teleports.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mute, but you got to.
He is capable of casting teleportation circle.
Yeah, we can talk to him and then find a passage over the water or look for items if we want to look at like a shopping district if anybody needs anything. I don't think we do. We've got plenty of magic, don't we?
Yeah. Again, there's probably not much that you'd be looking for. But, or much that you'd be able to find anyway. Master Amerneth is, just calmly awaiting, the upcoming school year. He has engaged Summer Corps regarding the dwarfs' desire to stop preliminary teachings. He's pulled some resources here in Benish, lawyer-wise, and is kind of defending the school in its operations inside of the bounds of the magical legal system.
Very good. I like this guy.
Well, he's the abjurationist. He is protecting the town even in its legalities. Protecting the school in its legalities even.
Brock, do you need money? You're going shopping.
Oh, I didn't actually. I don't need anything. We just had all kinds of stuff given to us. I was just,
Well, you could go to the market. I'm not interested in shopping, but if you
No.
want to like scum around, see what they have.
Actually, I'm gonna sort of take this big chunk of residuum out of my bag, and I'm gonna. You see him go off into like under a tree, and you hear scritch, 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 scratch, scratch. He's like
Okay.
marking.
Rock learned how to beatbox.
Hey.
Go ahead with your thing.
No, he's just sitting in a corner doing this.
Oh,
he's
okay.
preparing
You're
a new
doing your
spell.
carving.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I'm gonna take a stroll to the arena up in the northwest.
Okay.
I will
See what's
also go
going
to
on.
the arena.
It is currently the closed, as it's relatively.
Well, it's also the Fighters Guild, isn't it?
Yeah, the Fighters Guild is open. It doesn't look like there's much going on within, but there is an attendant behind the desk. Doesn't seem to greet you or anything. He's just kind of a surly old chap.
Sure. It's what, evening, afternoon?
Doing the math, yeah, it's probably close to middle of the day, middle of the afternoon. No, middle of the morning. Sorry.
Okay, so it's not just ass early. It's reasonable hours.
10ish.
Okay.
In Benish.
Nice. Good morning, sir. Last I was here, someone spoke of the Tower of the Dark Star being of some import to the city.
I believe that the Curios of the city was interested in having it cleared out for portly purposes, but port-related purposes. Not portly.
Right.
Right.
I get you. Out of curiosity, does the guild have any information as to what's going on over there exactly? I don't like to go places unprepared if I can help it.
Well, from what we understand, a number of bestial creatures have been causing issues in the lands of the High Veld, which has made it impossible for excavators, or rather surveyors, to travel to the tower from the outside. There are a number of ports inside of the tower's base in the Dark Rock cliffs, but no one has been able to traverse through them and find a meaningful passage out of them, as there are a number of facade or fake passageways into the mountain that lead to nothing. So no one has dared try because the passage is long, arduous, and could lead someone to a dead end where they might end up probably crushed rocks or what have you. So it's the desire of the Curios, from what I understand, for someone to brave the Veldlands to the tower, and then make their way into the basement of the tower, find a way out of the passage, map it, notate which of the false entrances is the true one, and then we would have a means of entering into the Tower of the Dark Star unabated and without the undesirable attacks of the monsters.
What sort of beasts are rumored to occupy these tunnels and this tower?
The tunnels, not really many rumors about beyond just horrible crashes into rocks and ends within. But regarding the monsters that reside on the Veldlands, all sorts of horrific creatures. The shadow beasts, which is common parlance for displacer beast, due to their ability to kind of doppel. He says other beings, drakes, wyverns, other horrid creatures, the land sharks. There's also some people say there might even be like demons present. I doubt that. Probably things that are like demons, like harpies or something like that. But a very wild land, the Veldlands.
Rookie, we gotta check this out.
I want to go there more now.
Would somebody, just hypothetically, if someone were to set sail across the lake here and attempt to port anywhere else on that far side,
it would have to be either far north of the Dark Tower or far south of it. And the reason why that's the case is because, as I mentioned, the Tower of the Dark Star rests high up on a rocky cliff face known as the Darkstone Cliff. Darkstone Cliffs, rather. That kind of run up for a number of miles just at the mouth of where it leads into the Blackheart Way and then Blackheart Lake.
We may look into hiring a vessel. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
If there's any other information you could share on
I would say
the job,
I
I'd be more
have
than grateful.
a perfect person for you to transport you to where you need to go. And there's kind of this weird kind of like clip forward in the scene where you end up at the ports with this guy, and he's introducing you to a captain. As you're being introduced to him, it's kind of like a silhouette kind of back to him. But you very quickly realize that his head is very massive, gray-skinned, with floppy ears kind of off to the sides. And as he spins about, he's wearing this very fine, regal coat with a massive, elephant's trunk. He's kind of got like a sword cane in his hand, kind of placed down, and he kind of looks over to you as you approach. The Veldlands, you say? I can take you. And that's where we're going to cut the session for today. Thanks for those that watched, and we'll pick up next week as we continue the Riotous adventures. Oh, sorry. Real quick recap of what Rye is doing. Traveling with a lot of army. We'll pick up on that at some point too. Thanks for watching.